All right. So it looks like we are live.
Yeah, we are. Are we? Are we live?
We're in the cloud.
All right.
Let me see. I always want to pull it up to see on my phone. The other day I was on a webinar and I tried to StreamYard the Zoom webinar from my computer to Facebook and it didn't work. People are like, we can't hear you, this and that. So technology's been interesting.
I'm trying to, what is it, moving to Texas?
So it's MOVEMETOTX is like the first part of the page name.
What is it?
Let's see.
I can't even. MOVEMETOTX
is like the first part. Move me to TX.
Move me to TX.
Here, I'll tag. You got it?
I got it.
All right. So, hey Mel, what's going on?
Hey
Amanda. So, okay, as we kind of work through finding this on Facebook to make sure we're actually live, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Katie. I am a real estate agent here in Houston. In my travels on Instagram and to Naples, Florida, I met Sue, Pinky, I guess via Instagram, and then in person, one of the times that I was in Florida. She is a RE/MAX agent in Naples, Florida, Southwest Florida, and does all things video. So check her out on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, I wanted to get together today to talk a little bit about video and virtual open houses and kind of the things that you've been doing for a very long time. So
just like a dinosaur at this.
Since no, but you know, I think that the reason why I wanted you to be on today was that you've been doing the video thing for a very long time. So I feel like you're
that's why I laugh, because it's the truth. Like it's like so funny to me because I can't think of another word, but like when everybody's like, how do you do video? How do you do virtual open house? How do you do? And I'm like, I'm like, we've been doing these for like over a decade. I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, seriously, it was probably close to 9 years ago. I went to a conference and it was just a tiny little conference and it was in this tiny little place in Tampa. And I'm there and these speakers get up and they start talking about video way back then. I mean, 8-9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was Katie Lance and Chris Smith. And they were talking about Twitter and Facebook because that's all back then. And they were like, social media marketing is going to be huge and using video is going to be so important. You got to get on and do video. And I'm like, okay, I'll
try this thing.
Yeah. So then I went home and I learned how to do it. You know, I mean, it wasn't like instantly, it's been a process, but I started doing them right away. And so now like fast forward and I'm like, why are we still talking about this? Like,
well, I think we all know how many people, you know, as far as video goes, how many like people watch it more instead of, you know, reading things. If you just post a post with words, no one responds, but you know, the videos get pushed higher. So, I mean, all of the stats are there. Everyone knows they should do it. But I think, you know, there's fear, there's, you know, knowledge that may not be there, stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to, you know, call on some of my expert friends that, you know, have different skill sets than I do. Because I know what I like to do and all that, but I love what you do. So I'm excited to dig into it.
Well, for being a dinosaur, that makes me feel okay.
Well, when I say that you've been doing it a long time, it's like that you have a lot of knowledge, not that like anything else.
I was a broadcast journalist before this, so it does feel like forever I've been in front of the camera. Although I have to say, the amount of Zoom meetings I've been doing across the country this week, I am getting sick of my face. Like, yeah, I do have other hairdos, but this is the webinar bun. It's just easy. It's done. It's done.
It looks great. It looks great.
Thanks. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that, you know, here is the thing that gets me with video is that it's the same kind of thing. Like, I'm sure, Katie, you're a huge workout fanatic. And you always hear like, well, when I have time, I'm going to work out, right? Like when I have time, I'm going to fit that workout into my schedule. I'm going to learn yoga. And I want you to know, I've been home for 4 weeks now, and I always say that I'm going to learn it. And I still haven't found the time to learn it. Okay. So some of us just have to own the fact that we may never do it, and that's fine, but stop worrying about it and move on to other things, you know, like, and that's really what it comes down to with video is you do have the time now. So the excuses that you don't have time no longer works. So it's like, okay, what really is holding you back from doing it? You know, I could give you 100 reasons why I still don't get into the exercising thing, but I know that
we don't have time for that.
time for all those excuses. But I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, knowing what is it that's holding you back from doing it, and really talking to yourself and saying, okay, do I really truly want to embrace this skill? And then you have to say to yourself, am I okay not embracing this skill? And when I go on an appointment and the other real estate agent comes in and says, well, I can do a Facebook Live. I know how to market on Instagram. I know how to create videos for my database. I know how to use technology. When they start really naming these things off, and the client says to you, can you do any of these things? And well, I kind of know, I have a Facebook page. Like, are you going to be comfortable like saying, okay, well, you know what, he's probably the better agent for you, you know? And I say that with love and appreciation because I've been an agent for over a decade, and I know what that's like to have somebody else who has a different skill set. And you just have to sometimes say, well, that may be the best agent for you. But right now, it's really, and Katie and I were just talking about this, like, it's shaking the trees, the technology is. And I really feel like the people that don't get it, whether it's how to do a Zoom call or how to do a virtual open house, I think it's just going to shake them down to the ends and to the side. And, you know, I feel bad for them because they could be a phenomenal agent, but they just really don't want to embrace the camera because maybe they don't like the way they look or sound, or, you know, they look a little funny one eyes, you know, whatever it is, you know, but you got to just embrace who you are. That's all. You could be Captain Jack, like, you know, wear one eye patch and go with it. That'd be your brand.
Yeah.
So you want me to share the screen, get into the...
Yeah. All right. So while she pulls up some of the info that she had prepared, whatever questions y'all have, drop them in the comments. Hey, Heather, what's going on? So yeah, drop your questions in the comments. As we go through, we will review them. And yeah.
Okay. Is it full screen then, Katie? Is that what it looks like?
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can someone comment, pause for 1 second. Can someone comment and say if they can see the screen or not? That would be great. Because she can see her own screen.
I can only see my presentation, so I can't see questions or anything.
Yeah.
We good?
I think we're good. So we can just, yes, Lisa can see your screen. So you are good to go.
Okay, so first and foremost, I am a real estate agent. I'm an active real estate agent. I work with my husband, Josh, here in Naples in Southwest Florida, which is Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Marco Island. So I tell you that not to be like, hey, if you have a referral, think pink, which I am. But I'm also telling you that because I want you to realize that I am out in the field and I am showing houses and I am listing properties the same way you are. So that excuse of always being so busy that you don't have time to figure out how to do a video or edit a video on the fly, I understand what you're saying. So I'm going to kind of help you walk through some of the things that you need to know for doing virtual open houses or videos. So here's some of the places that you can do these virtual open houses. First of all, there's Facebook Live. Very simple. You hit a button on your phone, opens your Facebook app, you go to post, you hit live instead of writing a comment. It's not complex. There's no major learning curve as far as, you know, getting started. Now, what I'm going to tell you is what everybody tells me when I talk to them about going live, which is, I don't want to go live. I'm scared. Like, what will I say? I might mess up. And I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to mess up. And that's perfectly fine because that's why I love live. When you're live, things happen. Unexpected things happen. Like, think about the news reporter who's out at a fire and then all of a sudden somebody runs behind her or her audio drops out or you can't hear her. You expect those things to happen because it is a live video. So that's the glory in live. Like, you don't have to make it perfect. When you shoot and edit a video, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, that video, there is an expectation of perfectionism that needs to be in that video. So don't be so hung up on being perfect. You're not perfect. Now, does that mean that you're not going to be professional? No, you can still be professional with mistakes because God knows professionals make mistakes too. And it's okay. When it comes to learning Facebook Live, there's a great way to do it. There is an option, and I'm going to show it to you in a second, where you can adjust your audience to only me, right? So you adjust it so only yourself can see that video. So you can get out there and practice, and you can realize like, okay, so this is where I want to have the camera. So it's a little further away from me and people aren't looking up my nose, you know, and what kind of background, is it too dark? Is it too light? You can even do it specific friends. Okay, you could do it with specific friends. So let's say I wanted to practice with Katie and say, hey, Katie, how does this look? How does it sound? And I could do a practice live with just her. Now, another great way to do this is with your buyers, okay, or your sellers. If you needed to go out and do a CMA with them and you wanted, they're not in town and you want to do it long distance, you could say, hey, let's be friends on Facebook. I'm going to do this Facebook Live only to you, and you are going to walk me through your property and tell me what you want to point out. That's great. Or if it's a buyer, you can do the same. You can be like, hey, I want to show you this property, and it's only for them to see. No one else sees it. I've actually done this with a lot of walkthroughs because a lot of my clients close from a distance. So I will do a Facebook Live with them only for them to see on the walkthrough. Why would I do this instead of a FaceTime? Now I have a time-stamped date of that property, the day of closing, and what it looked like at that time frame. So it's there. So that's one of the amazing things with Facebook Live. Instagram Live. I love Instagram Live. It really has some really fun features on there that a lot of people don't realize about because they barely play on Instagram. And like Katie said, that's how we met, was on Instagram. So it's a great place to go and check out. So you go live within the stories feature of Instagram. And what's amazing in it, and I'll show you an example of this in a second, is that while you're doing the video, you can share photos and videos of things in your camera roll. So for example, you're going live from your own home and you could be sharing your listing videos, your listing photos. You could have a little script, which I'll show you, like of information on the property that you could include in your live. And then afterwards, when it ends, you download it and you can share it to other places later, a repurposing of it on Facebook, IGTV. You can do all kinds of things with it. So it's a really cool thing to check out. Edited videos. These are the ones that tend to have to be perfect. What I would say about them is keep them short and simple. Just do little intros, little outros, a little tidbit here or there. Don't make them a really long, lengthy video. I see agents try and do this all the time, and that's when they get really boring and blah. Try to keep them as interesting as possible, but as short and sweet. Zoom meetings. Obviously, you can do a Zoom meeting with your clients and you can show pictures and videos of your property as well. And if you have BombBomb, Katie knows I'm a huge BombBomb freak. They have screen shares on BombBomb, and I think I might be able to share with you what it looks like for how they work as well. If you've never tried BombBomb, now is the time. You can do a 2-week trial. Let us know. We'll get you out there. So this is Instagram Live. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So first of all, I made everything through Canva. You make them in the story templates ahead of time, all right? So this is what I call a script, all right? So this screen right here is your script. Now, what I mean by that isn't that it's word by word, I'm gonna read off of it, but it's just helping me while I'm doing a live to know what I'm going to be talking about, points that I want to make. Now, I could do more than one of these. I could make them a whole lot more interesting than this, and I would encourage you to do that because quite frankly, as an agent, you should probably already know the stats of your property without having to be reminded. But just so you know, down here at the bottom, this is the camera roll. All right, so nobody sees your camera roll, just you. So when you start to do your live, it'll be full screen. Then what will happen is you'll have this option down here, this little square that'll allow you to go into your camera roll. Now you want to make sure your photos and your videos are already at the beginning of that camera roll so you don't have to scroll too far back in time to find anything or pull it from an iCloud. Then you can start to, this is a screen right here, it's down here at the bottom. I shared it up there. I made it beforehand, like I said, in Canva. And I just put in there in the story template, 198,000, more than 1,400 square feet, gave some of the stats on the property. Then over here, this is just a little another one, it has like a little video at the bottom because you can do this in Canva as well. So I could share this one in there. You know, just making sure that you use great photos. So you don't have to, you can just share the photos straight from your camera roll. However, I take it a step further, go into Canva and create more than one graphic, because then people are like, oh, wow, like that really looks great. Looks like she took her time to really dive in and make these graphics look awesome. And then on top of that, I can repurpose this as a simple story template in my stories, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. So you can multi-purpose what you're doing. Now, when it comes to editing videos, these are some of the apps that I'm going to tell you about that you can use. Now, the first one here is InShot. It is a free app. Now, one of the things, as someone who trains agents on how to edit videos on social and using social media, biggest hurdle is that not a lot of the apps are on both Droid and Apple. A lot of the apps may act differently from one app or from one phone to another type of phone. I use InShot because it works the most on both platforms, both Droid and Apple. It works similar between those. So InShot is a great little app that you can start to learn how to edit videos on. So it's free, just download it and start to play, okay? I get a lot of questions where people are like, well, how do you use Canva? And my question back to them is, well, what's your problem? Well, I haven't used it, so I don't know how to use it. Well, maybe you should go and try using it first, and then we'll find out what the problem is. Like, so go in and start to play and see what happens. So again, free. It's not going to, you know, cost you a lot. And when in doubt, go find a teenager. They'll help you, walk you through it. They may call you a boomer or something like that. Just ignore them. It's all okay. Now, down on the right-hand side, Video Shop is another one that a lot of agents like to use. I love Video Shop. It doesn't work exactly the same between Droid and Apple, and I'm not even quite sure if it's on Droid, but the paid version, which is like $24 a year, if you become more robust at editing like Katie is, Video Shop is really cool because you can add B-roll and you can do some really cool advanced things over on Video Shop. One of the most basic and easy apps is Quick by GoPro. Now, you don't have to have a GoPro. They're just the makers of the app. But Quick, you can just go in, upload some of those great listing photos that you have, and it will take them and give you a couple of different options with music and video and transition, and they'll just have a little bit of fun with it. And you can play with it as much as you want, but it's a great app for you to get started with, to understand, you know, how it works, what are transitions, things of that nature. And it still looks good, and it's still something you could use to post on social media. So here's Facebook, and this is what I wanted to show you. Over here, when you go to create a post, this is your personal page. You see where it's circled and it says public. You would simply hit that drop down, and you could either hit specific friends or only me. And that will allow you to adjust it. Now, let's suppose you go through the whole process, you do it as only me, and it comes out and it's fantastic. You can then go ahead and readjust it, put it at public, and now everybody can see it. So it's not a waste of time if you go and do it and you're comfortable with it, but it's a great place to practice doing these virtual open houses. This is a video I made with Quick with just the photos. Come on. It does all the text. It moves everything around for you. It picks the music. I think too many agents overthink what these videos have to look like. And that's it. It's very simple. It's very easy. And then you can take that and tease it out to your database, which is what I did, and said, hey, coming on the market soon, this great new property. If you want, you know, I have a full 2-minute video on this property. Come back to me and I'll email you the entire video. So just think about ways that you can tease your audience to get more information. And then you see if you can start the conversation from there. This is a screenshot of a BombBomb screen share. So if you have BombBomb, you have the ability to screen share directly into your MLS, your Zillow, whatever it is. So for example, I show up as a little circle down at the bottom, and then I go into the MLS and I do a live talk through of my CMA with them. So I show them the MLS. Here are the properties that are comparable to you. Let's go in and look at them just like you would do with a live person, right? Like you're out on an appointment and you can walk them through it. So BombBomb's a great option, which you could do the same thing with Zoom, I would think, might be a little trickier. Now, one of the things I will talk about is the power of having great photos, and Katie knows this as well. So I just want to point this out because as you saw those photos that were in that last video from Quick, I did the same thing with those photos. I take a lot of my own photos. I do firmly believe in using professional photography, but I also know that as we go through this situation, we're all going to be counting our dimes and our pennies, and we're going to be like, okay, so is this house worthy of great photos? Every photo or every house is worthy of great photos. It just means that you as an agent have to learn how to take great photos, because when you take crappy ones, they make us all look bad as professionals. So I just want to share this with you. It's Box Brownie. I get nothing for this. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of their services, that you can take a photo, and this is the perfect time to practice. Go around your house and take photos. Take them from different angles and see what you come up. Turn the lights on, turn the lights off. But they'll take the photo on the left and turn it into the one on the right for $1.60. So if you can't afford that, you really shouldn't be a real estate agent. But on top of that, if you use the promo code PINKY right now, they'll give you a free $32 to try it. So I just want to point that out, because having great photos in your video is going to make a huge difference. Just look at the difference between those two photos. I mean, it's crazy. And it was a beautiful day when we were there. Now you're going to say, well, what do I talk about when I do a virtual open house? I get so worried. I don't know what to say. The best thing you can do is be prepared for any type of video that you're going to do. Even with my husband, we're right now doing these wind down Wednesday nights where we sit around having a drink and invite people to come in and watch the video with us. We are prepared for those. I do some research. I have an idea of what we're going to talk about. You don't just go live in front of a camera without really knowing what you're going to talk about. So be prepared. And that means going beyond just knowing square footage, price a home, how many bedrooms. Really go into the story of the house, work on it, look at what's the history of the neighborhood. Maybe there was something there before the houses were built. Maybe it was a big farming industry. Maybe there's something that you can find in the history of the home, that maybe the names of the street in the neighborhood. Go in, do your research. For me, for example, there's a community here that they have these big, beautiful bronze horses that are out front. There's 4 of them. It's a landmark in town. And I went and I researched why those horses were there. I found out that they are the twin set of another 4 horses that are in Germany that were created for when the wall went down, when the Great Wall went down. So that said, it was a great little story. So I shared that as a video. And guess what? So many people came forward hey, I've lived here for 20 years. I had no idea why those horses were there. So just do the research. Maybe it's the name of a street or something in the neighborhood that you're I wonder why that street has such a funny name. Look into it. There's probably a story. Schedule it. You want to make sure that you schedule it and then you promote it. So there's lots of different ways to do it. You can say, hey, I'm going to be live at 6:30 on Wednesday. Join me for Wind Down Wednesday, and then you can promote it in different places across different platforms. So even if you're going live on Instagram, you want to tell people over on Facebook, hey, I'm going to be live on Instagram at noon on Friday. Make sure you pop over there to watch me. You can also do it as an event and promote it that way. In Instagram stories, you can create a countdown clock until you go live so that your viewers just click on it and they get a reminder, hey, Pinky's going to be live at noon on Tuesday. Do a practice run through. Now, I don't mean being hardcore, rehearsed. I don't want you to be rehearsed. I want you to be authentic. But you can know what you're going to talk about. A lot of times I'll ride my bike with my daughter and she'll give me my fun facts and we'll go over them back and forth while I'm riding. And it's just at normal conversation. So just practice a little bit about what you're going to talk about. Most important, on any type of video you're going to do, you want to have an intro and an outro. So your intro would be like, hi, it's me, Pinky of Pinky Knows Naples, powered by Remax Realty Team. And today I'm going to show you 5 things about this house that you're not going to find on Zillow. Right now, I've teased them to come in and be like, oh, what are these 5 things I can't find on Zillow? And then at the end, I'm going to say, hey, it's me, Pinky. Thanks for stopping by today. If you want more information, think pink, reach out to me. And then I'm going to give them a very clear call to action. Not 5 things to do, like you can email me, call me, text me, go on my website. I'm going to give them one very clear call to action. So I might say, direct message me now for more information. Email me, whatever it is, but one very clear call to action. Oops, went backwards. So if you want to know a little more about video, you can join my group, which is Pinky Knows Video. You can go on Instagram, which is Pinky Knows Naples. And then, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn. So I am trying to figure out how to stop sharing here. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Whew. Did I get through it all?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's such great information. I really like the screen share. It's definitely something that we do via Zoom and we'll send and all that. But I think that's super powerful. And I know you've been doing it for more than the past few weeks. Don't want to say a really long time because I got in trouble for that earlier. No, but I know you've been doing that for a while.
That screenshot I showed you was from last week, and I sent it to a real estate agent who is one of my clients, and she owns a very large brokerage with like 1,600 agents. And I sent it to her, and she came back to me, and it was like instant. Within 5 minutes, she goes, I have never seen this before. This is the coolest thing. That was phenomenal. And this is a woman who is a broker and has 1,600 agents. Yeah. So, to me, that's the power of understanding everything that's available to you.
Well, and I think that's something too, being in Southwest Florida, I know it's a very large primary market, but there's also a big secondary market, right? So you have people that live in other, areas of the country, of the world that have second homes in Southwest Florida. So it's like you've had to figure out ways to do this for a while. So yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
A challenge sometimes, but I think, we have this power here that if we just play with it a little bit, I think you'll find which one works best for you and your business.
Yeah, for sure. All right, awesome. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, I'm seeing what's on here now. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it pulled up on my phone. See what additional comments. I've got a lot of people that had said that they could see it. Dolores has a home in Marco and loves you.
Oh, thank you, Dolores. Yes, I love Marco. Marco's beautiful. They had a controversy though. They opened their beach for like 24 hours and everybody was like, what?
So no.
Shut it back down.
Yeah, it stinks. Some of the outdoor spaces. Let's see. Okay, I'm here. Let me share this. Super fun, talkative, great sense of humor, relatable with most personalities out there, unexplainable fear when it comes to speaking in front of the camera. I'm not myself as soon as the camera turns on.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from. And I think there is a book, and it was actually because Katie and I both love Tom Ferry. He did an interview. I can't think of the name of the author right now, but it was all about having an alter ego. Did you happen to hear that one, Katie? Book on how to have an alter ego. And it was basically, let me just put it to you this way, like Martin Luther King, right? We all know who Martin Luther King is. He had 20/20 vision, right? But what did Martin Luther King wear? Glasses. And he wore those glasses, and they were his little device, his wife would say, about him becoming what he called the distinguished gentleman. So it was a device that when he put those glasses on, he went from being Martin, her husband, to Martin Luther King, the activist. So I say this to you because I think that if you can find a way to have a trigger, for me, I say like, oh, I got to go put the pink on. Right? I got to go put the pink on. And there it is. That's the book, The Alter Ego Effect. Right? So I have to go put the pink on. And to me, that's like, okay, I have to be pinky now. Like, I'm not always happy and, I mean, my husband will tell you I can be a royal pain in the keister. But you have to have some sort of little device that says, okay, I'm going to take off the Melanie hat and I am going to be the, real estate agent reporter right now. And I'm going to put that hat on. And sometimes I know that there's an internal conflict and you have to look inside of yourself, and you may not want to do this. I know how it is, but sometimes you have to go, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen and why am I scared of it? And walk yourself through that scenario. You may find that there's like one person that you're worried that if they're watching this video and they see you, that they're going to think this, that, or the other thing. And then when you have that moment of reality, you're going to go, I'm going to let one person dictate my thoughts and things of that nature, and they're not the ones paying my bills. So why do I care? So sometimes you have to do a little internal and kind of really feel yourself out on there. So, oh, that's right. I did. That's right, Dolores. Gotcha. Yeah. So just check out that book because the interview itself with Tom Ferry was amazing.
Yeah. The moment you put on that name tag or the moment that you blank, who do you turn into? So
because you already have, the minute you go to the soccer field and you become the soccer mom, you're now soccer mom, you're not real estate agent. There's always the switch. There's a switch in every one of us, the moment I'm a wife, the moment I'm a mom, you just have to have a switch to, okay, when I'm in front of that camera, this is who I am, and now it's kind of funny because when my kids are around, I'm like, go, I can't do what I need to do. So.
That's funny. Cool. I'm so happy we did this. That's so much great information, so many ways. Thank you for sharing this useful info. This was fantastic. This was such good information. I'm so glad.
And I usually charge, but I'm doing my free video webinar on how to edit on Wednesday afternoon. So if you guys want to learn how to edit on your phone, I'm going to walk you through the process. It's a two-hour webinar. Like I said, I usually charge, so there won't be a replay, but we'll do it live. And I'll teach you, first of all about equipment, and then we'll go through the InShot app, and I'm going to show you how to shoot and then edit it. It's very simple. I'm not going to dive into real deep, crazy things. It's going to be enough to get you started. So if you want, that's Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
And one of the things that I really like that Sue does is that she will do a video or do something, and then she'll cut it up and repost it, via email, or she'll send it out via email. She'll put it on her social. It'll go on Facebook. There's lots of different ways to use just one video or just one, piece of content. So really, really helpful there. So you guys should carve out that time. You said on Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday, 2:00. So yeah, it'll be fun. I'll be ready for wind down Wednesday that night afterwards.
That's really when you need to plan out what you're going to talk about, when you get all the wine flowing. So cool. Well, yeah, a lot of people saying thank you. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you all for tuning in, and catch you all tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks guys. See you soon. Thanks, Katie.